Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
My girlfriend just gave birth to our first child. I know I'm not the biological father. No more wasting time. This one's crazy. Let's get it.
My girlfriend just gave birth to our first child.
Congratulations.
I know I'm not the biological father. Yikes. And I revealed I knew as soon as she gave birth. I found out when she was about 6 months along that it wasn't mine. A guy, Brian, approached me at my work and asked me, "Are you Sarah's boyfriend?"
No.
I said, "Yeah," and asked what he wanted. He said he was sorry that he had slept with her and swore he didn't know that she was with someone.
Jeez.
He then pulled out his phone to show the text between them, and they came to an agreement to just pretend the baby was mine.
Not the receipts. Came to an agreement to pretend the baby wasn't yours. Wow.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
In return, she wouldn't lose her perfect life, and he wouldn't be responsible for a baby. We had been having problems trying for a baby, and all of a sudden, she got pregnant so easily. But he explained that he had been thinking about it, and he...
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. But what the F? In return, she wouldn't lose her perfect life, and he wouldn't be responsible for the baby. So she got impregnated by the guy who she wanted to have a baby with. She wanted his genes. He beat it up. Fast, not slow. Just put in work. And now she needs somebody to take care of the baby. Talk about beta male provider. This is horrible. Let's keep watching.
He recently became a Christian, and he said he couldn't live his life knowing that I was living a lie while his child didn't know their real father. I told him I'd keep in touch, and not to say that he'd said anything just yet. I've had a lot of time to think, but ultimately, I decided to wait until she gave birth to hurt her in her most vulnerable moment.
Well, that's rude, but go on.
First of all, city boys, that's the point. That's the point.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Second, I want you guys to pay attention to how this chick, throughout this whole 1 minute story that I keep pausing, I know you're mad, I'm sorry. The only time she showed that she's disgusted with the situation is when he decides to take things into his own hands and kind of do an FU back to her by telling her in her most vulnerable moment. She's like, oh, that's effed up. Look at her face. The whole other time she was enjoying the story at the expense of the pain of the man who was being lied to. But as soon as it's time for her to drink some coffee, she can't handle it.
What should have been a beautiful moment of me holding my baby was the most heartbreaking time of my life. I started packing up my stuff to leave. She asked where I was going, and I told her. I know I'm not baby name's father. You can act all shocked, but I know. Just ask Brian to come. I'm positive he'll sign the birth certificate. Then I left. She's been calling my phone over and over, even sending texts as I type this.
I love a beautiful ending. I love a beautiful ending. And I'm sorry. Listen, you may be thinking to yourself, what about the child? Well, it sounds like the biological dad is willing to take responsibility, which is great. The only person that truly suffers here, because he's a Christian now, right? He's trying to do the right thing, and he couldn't live with himself by lying. So hopefully he's a good father to his child, and she doesn't deny him access from seeing his child. Now, in some cases, women will let the bum smash her, impregnate her, and I'll look for a guy with stability and a boring life. And if he's a bum and not a good father, well, that's unfortunate, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. It sounds like two men here who decided to talk things out, one who decided to take accountability. And yeah, unfortunately, this is not an ideal situation for the child, but overall, this is a better ending compared to what they were actually planning in the beginning. She's texting him, of course, blowing up his phone because she regrets her decision. But it's time to drink that coffee, man. What do you guys think? What would you do if you were the man in this situation who got played? Do you think you'd have had enough self-control to wait those extra 2 months? And are you that petty? Personally, myself, I wouldn't do it that way. I just wouldn't want to put that much energy into it. I'd probably just leave. But hey, there's some people out there who have time. And this man today had time. As always, let's check out a few of these comments. Let's see what the people have to say. First comment here says, so it's rude to tell her at that time, but it's not wrong of her to lie about a child to him. Of course, women in a lot of these cases, they sympathize with the woman because they might do the same thing. And maybe they may not be as deceitful. But women definitely understand the concept of wanting one guy to give you a child and wanting another guy to take care of that child, right? It's like the best of both worlds for them. Another commenter here responded back to that guy and said they knew we was going to jump on her head for that with the 14 likes. So the reason why these guys are talking like this is because the actual original video, they muted all the comments. And I know the reason they muted the comments is because of her reaction. So I had to look elsewhere for the video to see if somebody like had reacted to it or I did a stitch. And this is where I found these comments, but they muted all those comments so no one could really call that chick out, which is kind of like cowardly, I think, in my opinion. Somebody else responded back to that guy who says, hey, they knew we would get on her head for that and said, on God. Another guy added and said, thank you. Next comment here says, at her most vulnerable moment, effing W, my guy. Next comment here says, she really said that's effing rude. And somebody else responded back to that guy and says, yeah, like she definitely deserved that. For sure. This should be criminal. This should be criminal. Like paternity fraud should be a criminal offense. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Crazy, crazy story. As always, man, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.